Yeah. Yeah.
All
Okay,
right.
there's the yellow.
Yes. So hey guys, welcome to one of our YouTube lives and our webinar collaboration with the one and only Eric Sue. Hey guy, hey.
Hello.
So if you could just tell everyone a little bit more, about yourself. Obviously, they probably know you, but also what we're going to go over today a little bit.
Yeah, sure. So we're gonna talk through a couple of tactics that work from not just an SEO perspective, but just a couple of just combining different pillars of growth together. Because my take on SEO and other kind of marketing tactics and strategies is once you combine them together, it lifts the entire ship up. So yes, there will be some talk around SEO. Some of the stuff, we'll feel free to ask questions as we go through it. It's meant to be kind of engaging, so we can have more of like a discussion.
Mhm.
But yeah, I hope you enjoy it, and I just want you to take away one thing from it. I don't need you to take away everything, just one.
Of course, yeah. So before we get into that, thank you. I wanted to ask you, so like, what are you doing in New York City? What are you up to?
Yeah, so I am in New York. I was actually just recording podcast episodes with my podcast co-host Neil Patel. So if you don't listen to Marketing School, check it out. We banged out like 20 of them. We were hanging out yesterday. Yesterday was actually his birthday, so if you guys like Neil, go say happy birthday to him. But meeting with clients and then also talking through potential partners, and I'm meeting with a guy that's helping me with my book after. So a lot of just meetings.
You are busy. Wow, 20 in one day, did you say? Did you get done
Yeah,
20 videos? Oh my God,
yeah.
that's intense. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Um,
then today's what's funny is today's a webinar with Semrush, and then tonight there's a small Semrush event that I'm speaking at with a couple others. So it's
yeah.
like all events today.
Oh my God, yeah. And tomorrow we're actually going to be for SEM Rush, we're about to be in another event. Are you going to be there by any chance?
No,
Still?
I'm flying out at 7 a.m. New York tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Yeah, we would want
Yeah.
you there. But that's awesome. Are you talking about the same kind of thing today in the webinar or totally different tonight for SEM Rush?
It's different tonight. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Just
Yeah.
curious.
Yeah.
So anything new with Single Grain? What's going on with the company besides those collabs that you're doing right now?
Yeah. Uh, no, nothing really new. I mean, we're just cranking along on the agency side of things, and then we're working on our software product, which
Mhm.
we are planning to collab with SEMrush on.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, that's about it. I mean, those are like the main things besides the podcasts.
No worries. And where are you actually coming from? I always forget to ask. Where's your base
Yeah,
at?
I'm in LA.
Oh, nice. Were you always from there or?
Yeah, born and raised.
Good. You're lucky. All right. You're not in this East Coast kind of gross today. Rainy.
Oh,
Not.
it's really rainy. Like I got lost in the subway and all that. So yeah.
And yeah, that's giant. That's huge. And I was going to ask you, I know that you love SEM Rush, obviously. So I'm in the tool every day. And I was wondering, what are your favorite tools that you use daily?
Yeah. So I was actually I just had lunch with the BuzzSumo CTO. So I love BuzzSumo, SEMrush obviously, Google Search Console as well. I'm just thinking about like what other tools I use on a daily basis. What else do I use? I'm just looking at it. 15.5 Asana. Yeah. What's that?
In SEM Rush, like your favorite tool, like do you use like the project section? I was just curious.
No, I mainly yeah, I actually don't use the projects much. I probably should. But no, I just mainly look at the site to look at, what keywords we're ranking for, what new keywords are coming in.
Mhm.
Those are kind of the main things.
Yeah, I was gonna say you definitely should, because well, actually, I go through it all the time, every day, and there are so many different tools that you could measure yourself and your competitors. We can get to that later. Okay. So also, what about new marketing strategies or anything that you've been implementing and noticing?
Yeah. You know what's interesting that everyone can use? I was at the TED conference about 2 weeks ago, and Ray Kurzweil, the guy that leads AI at Google, he actually just came out with a new semantic search tool called Talk with Books. So if you just literally Google Talk with Books, you can search through millions of books at one time, and you can type in a query like "What is love?" and it'll find a bunch of books that are related to that and give you a couple of passages from those books. So it's
Yeah.
now much more based on meaning than it is versus just keywords. So recommend checking that out just to show you where things are going. And if you ever run out of topic ideas, you can just search that.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's great. All right. And what was that conference that you were at?
TED.
For the A, it was called. What does it stand for? The con. What is it?
You haven't heard of TED before? So TED.
No, it's why I'm. Yeah, we need to go
Okay,
to.
okay.
What is this about? Yeah.
Yeah, just go to TED.com. I mean, it's about I think it's technology, education, design, but
Okay.
it's literally, you know, it's some of the biggest heavy hitters in the world. I mean, Sergey Brin from Larry Page was walking. Not Sergey Brin from Larry Page. Sergey Brin, one of the co-founders of Google, was walking around. So if you want to meet some incredible people, yeah, they're there.
Wow. Yeah. No, I'm just thinking for exhibiting for SEMrush, but I wasn't sure. You know, if
Oh,
that.
yeah, probably not the right fit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, because we're always
yeah,
open. We do like digital summits, social media world. We were just at.
yeah.
So
This
we're
one's
all.
different. This one's like you gotta like the people that are exhibiting are they have like, you know, kind of AR, VR, like new technology stuff. So they are. It's not like an online marketing conference.
Understand. Yeah. Okay. So I think we waited like 5 minutes. Hopefully, you know, everyone is here. And if you aren't, you can always see this after it is being recorded. So would you like to maybe start up right now,
Yeah,
Eric?
sure. I can go ahead and get started. So let me share my screen, and then I guess Krista, I'll wait for your confirmation just to confirm that the screen's actually showing.
Okay.
So can you see this?
It's still black for a second. It's still black. Hold
Okay,
on.
still black.
Yeah.
Okay, let me stop this really quick, and then let me start it back up again.
I could see the PowerPoint, the presentation, but then it went black when you presented. So.
Yeah, let's try this. How about this?
Perfect. Yes, I can see it.
Okay,
Mhm.
great. So I guess I'll leave it to you for questions here and there, and then we'll walk through this. So again, guys, take away one thing from it, and then we can do Q&A at the end. I have some time, and then here we go. So just for those of you that give you a quick introduction of who I am, but basically what we're going to talk about is how you can generate leads on autopilot by making content part of your sales strategy for 2018 and beyond. So I think we're all here. We understand the importance of content marketing and SEO at the same time because we're here on the Semrush webinar. My name is Eric Su. I'm the CEO of a company called Single Grain. And you know, we do paid ads and SEO and video, and also some design work for our clients. So some of our clientele include like Uber, Amazon, Recurly. We even work with Lyft as well. So work with a lot of tech companies. That's the digital marketing agency. And I also have a podcast. So this is really for everyone. I mean, here's a takeaway for you. If you think what I'm talking about is too basic or too advanced, you can just listen to Marketing School because we go back and forth on the spectrum. It's a podcast that happens every single day. I think we're over 600 episodes now. And this podcast gets about 640,000 downloads a month. Check it out. So, you know, literally, like I mentioned a little earlier when we're hopping on, Neil and I, we're both in New York right now. We braved the rain. I actually got lost in a train, you know, trying to get to the recording studio, and Neil wasn't happy because I arrived 25 minutes late. But that's the amount of stuff that we go through to get these done. And I have another podcast. I've been doing this one for close to 4 years. This one's called Growth Everywhere. This one I like because, you know, these are longer conversations with, you know, world-class entrepreneurs. We talk about marketing. We talk about personal growth, a lot of different things. A lot of, you know, successful marketers, you know, CEOs of different marketing companies have been on this show. So check that out. And I think the first thing to really cover here is when we think about marketing, you know, I know this is you guys coming into SEMrush, we're thinking, you know, there's SEM and there's SEO. That's kind of, you know, what we've been thinking about because that's what we know SEMrush for, right? And actually, because SEMrush, Anton from SEMrush told me that they just raised $40 million. The news spread yesterday that they're going into like Baidu and Amazon. I think that's going to change very quickly. And the reason they're doing that too is because it's important to think about the other channels and how they lift each other up, because a lot of attention is with Amazon right now. It is with Baidu right now. You know, YouTube, Twitch, all these different channels. It's no longer just about Google. It's no longer just about, you know, AdWords and SEO. It's more than that. So what we need to think about when we're addressing our audience is traffic temperatures. So you can, you know, take out your phone, whatever you want to do exactly. I don't know. I don't like to take pictures with my phone that much because I just forget about the picture. But here's a framework you can use. So the idea is this. You have cold traffic, you have warm traffic, and you have hot traffic. Cold traffic, these are people that have never engaged with your brand before. So you have, people, they don't care about you. You never helped them ever. So with cold traffic, what you want to do is you want to drive people to a blog post first. You want to drive them to a podcast. You want to drive them to perhaps a case study. Get them to, get a little warmer to your brand in the first place, right? So you do that. Then afterwards, you can retarget or collect emails, and that kind of traffic, the retargeting traffic or people on your email list, that is now warm traffic. So from there, once you have warm traffic going on, then you can target people to a free trial, for example, or you can target them to maybe a book. And once they purchase from you, they've taken out their credit card, spent $1, they're known as hot traffic. So you have to know how to address different segments of traffic, because a lot of people, even now, some of you might think this is basic, but I still see people running ads on Facebook today, driving people to a product page, trying to get them to buy immediately. You have to build a relationship first, and then you can take it from there. So start with traffic temperatures. I like to keep it basic in the beginning, and then go from there. Yep.
Could you go back to that one slide we were just on, and could you zoom in a little bit? People are just asking if they could see it. Just zooming in on the actual
yeah, just like I don't know if I can zoom in on this. No, I don't. Let's see.
Okay, can you provide these after at least?
The slides can be provided after, and then what I recommend to people is so just ask for the slides after, we'll get you the slides.
Okay, thanks, Eric.
Yeah, but just know that on the left side it's cold, middle's warm, right is hot. So what I said. Now the other thing we want to think about is around podcasting, right? So with podcasting, I mentioned earlier that we get a host of different so I have two different podcasts, right? One gets $640,000 a month, and then one is now up to about $80,000 a month. This is the smaller one. You can see the downloads were a little smaller here, but 1.3 million downloads overall so far. And then this one's a little kind of older snapshot of marketing school, but you can see in January we're about 589,000 downloads, and then right now Neil and I were trying to push to 1 million, and then 1.5 million downloads. My point of telling you this, though, isn't to brag to you. It's to show to you that all this stuff, like whether it's content marketing through blogs, whether we want to do video, whatever it is exactly, it's not always sunshine and flowers in the beginning. Like we've mentioned this on the podcast so many times, but the first podcast I started, Growth Everywhere, that one, after the first year, I was only getting 9 downloads a day. It's crazy. Only 9 downloads a day. And like I was spending 6 hours a week on it. Okay. And then after the first year, I was only getting 30 downloads a day, yet I would continue to spend 6 hours a week on it. And I had a lot of stuff to do on the business side of things. So the data shows that I probably shouldn't have given up, but sometimes it's not all about the qualitative data. Sometimes it's about the quantitative data. What happened was I had people reaching out to me saying, Eric, this is amazing. I don't know why more people don't know about this. So that kept me going. But the other thing too was with Growth Everywhere, I had the chance to interview world-class entrepreneurs and learn from them. People I otherwise wouldn't have access to, and people that I probably would have to pay for mentorship from. I got to learn from them and selfishly ask them questions and share it with the world. So, after a while, it started to go up. You can see at the very end here, it starts to scale up. And that led to more downloads, and that led to the Marketing School podcast. And that has led to me doing other things too, such as, speaking across the world, other clients, relationships I otherwise wouldn't have. And then, Neil and I are thinking about starting a Twitch channel now too, doing more video stuff as well. So Neil and I actually both have our own YouTube channels, and you can see kind of our different styles there. But my point is, you start with something that you're pretty good at, and you just stick with it. There's nothing sexy about it. The people that say content marketing and SEO don't work, those are the people that are too impatient. They want things to happen quickly. And some things just take a lot of time, and you can see in this scenario, it just took a lot of time. So what I want to show you now is you can see just the trends. What I like about podcasts is it's not like really crazy hockey stick growth out of nowhere, right? My kind of theory with growth is that, at the end of the day, if it's easy come, it's easy go. So you can see in 2008, 9% of the population listened to podcasts. And then in 2016, it jumped up to 21%, and it has been going up since, okay? About 1/3 of Americans, and I know a lot of us here aren't Americans, but I pulled up American stats here. Americans, 1/3 have said they have listened to a podcast, right? So about 36%. This is in 2016. Now, Libsyn, which is the host that Neil and I use, 3.3 billion downloads in 2015. So you can bet that they definitely have increased from that time. Okay. Krista, are there any kind of relevant questions right now, or should we move on?
We're doing good so far. No questions yet.
Okay. Great,
Just
fantastic.
yeah.
Feel free to drop the questions in there, by the way, as we go on. Chris is going to try to pick the most relevant ones to the discussion to be most helpful to people. But, for those of you that are looking to grow podcasts, really quickly, I recommend, taking a look at this one. So this guy, Russell Brunson, he has a company called ClickFunnels.com. They are, doing north of 150 million a year now. They are completely bootstrapped. They're just really good at marketing. Okay. So it's a SaaS product. Now, he has a podcast called Marketing Your Car. It's now called Marketing Your Secrets. He renamed it. But what he did was he created an MP3 stick that he drives Facebook traffic to. And the MP3 stick has about 365 episodes in there. And he drives traffic to a landing page. People often, they can get that free MP3. They just need to pay for shipping. What happens afterwards, once they opt in, fill out their credit card information, he offers a couple upsells afterwards. Like, hey, you can download the transcripts for $37. You can get the course here, and then you can get another course over here. What's happened is, because he drives Facebook traffic there, every time he manages to get one person to claim the MP3 stick, he gets 5 downloads. Not only that, he's making $32 on every single MP3 stick that goes out, and it basically costs him $15. Okay, so it costs him $15 to make $32, and he's getting 5 subscribers. That's something called a money machine, and you continue to put dollars into that. So I'm not necessarily saying copy him. I'm saying think creatively. Where other people zig, you zag, and you can try creative ways to grow your podcast. He actually got his podcast into like a top 5 position in business. Since then, I don't know what happened, but it's no longer there. But you can check it out. ClickFunnels, Russell Brunson, highly recommend it. It's a really cool marketing tool. Now, if you want to talk about tools, well, I just talk about our podcast host. This is Libsyn. What I like about Libsyn is when Neil and I basically publish a podcast episode, it will push to his Twitter, it'll push to my Twitter, it'll push to 2 SoundCloud channels, it'll push to YouTube, it'll push to Facebook, it'll push to a bunch of stuff that we want to push to. Not only that, when we record, we also record video too. So we are also kind of natively, pushing to YouTube, LinkedIn, and then also running ads as well, right? Because we want to get as many touch points as possible. For us, for Neil and I, our understanding is that it's most important to get as much mind share and attention as possible, and to stay top of mind, because you might not necessarily want our marketing services or our product or whatever it is exactly. That's not what you're looking for. Okay, what you're looking for is what's relevant to you. Maybe you want marketing lessons instead. So our job is to collect the attention and then figure out how to fulfill that demand. So what I want to bring your attention to, and this is more and more people are starting to talk about this now, but I feel like it has to be drilled into your head. This is the hub and spoke model. So the hub and spoke model, you could call it topic clusters, which is what HubSpot calls it. I just call it the hub and spoke model. Well, before we even talk about it, what's important is when you create content, you don't want this. This is fly-by-night traffic. This is a quick kind of PR bump, right? And then from there, it kind of just goes off and dies, right? And you kind of go like, it's like, well, I just put in all that time and well, that's what we got. What you want when you create content is you want something like this. You want it to be sustainable traffic. You want it to be evergreen. You want it to grow over time. Does that make sense? So how do we do that? That's the question. How do we do something like this? Because if we can keep doing this over time, we can keep repeating this cycle, we're going to be able to grow sustainable traffic. We're going to be able to get to 5,000 visits a month, 10,000, 100,000, 150,000, 500,000, 1 million visits a month, millions, right? I've done this multiple times in different niches, and I'm telling you, this works. Try it out. So what you should do, and don't worry, I'll send you the slides afterwards if you can't see this right now, is you want to take up the hub and spoke model. Take a look at the hub and spoke model. You might need to full screen your screen to take a look at this, but the idea is this. You have one main page. This is the overview page. So let's say I'm trying to rank for a keyword like conversion rate optimization. Well, maybe there's a definition around it. There's a description. And what happens afterwards is it's linking to multiple chapters on conversion rate optimization. What conversion rate optimization tools should you be using? What does A/B testing really mean? Basically, you have this in-depth resource, and it's interlinking to each other. And the easiest way to think about it is to think about Power Rangers. So for those of you that used to watch like Power Rangers and Voltron, I know I certainly did when I was a kid, the idea is this. you have these different Zords, they're different dinosaurs on their own. Okay, great. But, they're strong, but like they're not as strong as the Megazord, right? When you make the Megazord, you have this giant thing and it's just much stronger. The forces combined, the sum of everything is better than just things kind of separated. That's the same idea with the hub and spoke. And a lot of you that are creating content already, you can just take the content you have and just make an overview page and interlink them together. You can literally do this already without having to do additional work. And then from there, you do some keyword research, figure out the head tail keyword you want to rank for, and then you are off to the races. A lot of people don't do this because they're on the content treadmill, the hamster wheel of producing more and more content just for content's sake. Think about what you have already, look at what's going well, and then use the hub and spoke or the topic cluster model. You can look at HubSpot. They do this well right now. We do this as well on Single Grain, and that's how our traffic is scaling. That's how you do it. Does that make sense? Okay. So if you actually go Google conversion rate optimization right now, Qualaroo right here, they usually hover between #1 and #2. And it's exactly what I'm talking about. This is what it looks like. They have this main overview page, it's above the fold, but they have these different chapters over here. What is CRO? Why CRO is important? The basics of CRO. It's all there. It doesn't have to be that complicated. If you can build something out like this, you're going to be ahead of most of people when it comes to SEO. Okay? Now, the other thing I wanted to talk to you about is the secret to maximizing your content. So the secret to maximizing your content really is around, well, before I talk about it, I like giving this example. This is Wikipedia. This is Abraham Lincoln. Okay? Now, I think all of you know that Wikipedia tends to rank top 3 for a lot of different terms. Now, the question is, why the heck are they so ahead of everyone else? So there's Abraham Lincoln, he's president of the United States, was assassinated, was a great guy. But the question is, why does Wikipedia rank so well? Well, if we look at that piece of content using the Wayback Machine, in 2007, it had 13,000 words. In 2011, it jumped up to 18,000 words. In 2014, it jumped up to 20,000 words. In 2017, it jumped up to 24,000 words. So the idea here, going back to this, the idea here is that the content is continually getting upgraded. The beauty of a Wikipedia or like a Yelp, for example, or a TripAdvisor is they constantly have more user-generated content coming in, right? It's helping them grow. So you don't necessarily have that kind of luxury, but you can take that framework and apply it to yourself. So this is one of our posts on Single Grain, 10 companies with the best digital marketing campaigns. Now, we write about different companies like Uber, American Express and all that. We write about different campaigns that they have. Now, in 2016, that post had about 731 visits per month. Now, in 2017, it jumped up by 4 times. You can see in the first row, it jumped up about 2,800. Okay, 4x increase. I think we'll take that, right? Now, in 2018, we decided to take it even more. We just added more content to it, added a paragraph, added 2 paragraphs, removed some stuff that's not relevant. 7.25x increase, jumped up to 5,400. I can tell you now, as of modern day 2018, that post gets close to 10,000 visits a month. Okay, for those of you out there, I mean, I can tell you for us, for being a digital marketing website, that traffic is really valuable because if we're paying for that traffic in Google AdWords, it's going to cost us a lot more money. Does that make sense? Okay, great. So, those of you that are, I got a question from my team last year. Well, we spend so much money on content marketing, Eric. What's the ROI of content marketing? Well, okay, here's your ROI from content marketing, okay? You look at it, it says conversions, goal 3, free consultations. Look at the bottom right. For us as a services-based business, we are looking for more free consultations. People are looking for more marketing help. And you can see for that post itself, it got 6 free consultations, and there's the conversion rate right there. So for us, we can break down a free consultation to be worth a certain dollar amount. You multiply 6 by, let's say, 500. That's $3,000 right there. There is your quote-unquote ROI of content marketing, okay? So for those of you that need proof on content marketing, that's a little proof. And those of you that need a little more proof on how this stuff works, we actually track before and after for all these different posts. You can see everything is green here. Everything went up and to the right. So then you can put this in front of someone's face again. Hey, there's your ROI for content marketing. Don't come asking that question to me ever again. Ever. Okay? So that's that. You got content updates. You got the free consultation leads. And what I want to point to you now is, well, I don't know why my gift's not working, but here's a framework you can use. So get ready to take your phone out, or maybe you can wait afterwards. But I talk about this a lot with Neo. This is the content reusage workflow from Aleda Solis. She's an international SEO. And even though you can't see this right now, I just want you to kind of visualize this with me. So look at the top right, kind of the diamond. Yeah, it's a diamond. Okay. So here's how we look at it. So the question we ask ourselves initially is, if we have this blog post out there, is this topic covered by existing content, right? So if the blog post is outdated, okay, let's go ahead and update it. If it's not, let's go ahead to the next diamond. Is it incomplete? If it's incomplete, let's go ahead and expand it. If not, let's move to the next diamond. Can it be covered in different formats? So blog posts can be reformatted to a video. It can be reformatted to a podcast, for example, or a webinar. Okay, let's reformat it. If not, okay, can we make it easier to understand and structure, reformat, or reference, in existing content, right? So like a hub and spoke model. Okay, great. Let's curate it. If not, okay, let's go ahead and refocus it, right? We want to keep doing this over and over and over. The thing with marketers is they really like frameworks. Here's a framework that you can follow to make it really easy for yourself, or you can even hand this off to your team. The content reusage workflow, use it. It works. I love it. Okay.
Hey, real quick, Eric. So someone was asking just now if did you add to the existing content without modifying to the old content, or change the old content?
So we added to it. But in some cases, if we find a portion of it is outdated, then we'll go ahead and remove that portion, because a lot of stuff that you write, like, let's say 2 years you go behind, it's like, holy crap, this is not relevant anymore.
Okay, nice. All right. So thank you. There you go.
Okay.
All right, we're good. Yeah.
All right. So going back, so here's another example, right? I mentioned to you guys that, in marketing school, we've done over 600 episodes, but Neil and I we're sitting next to each other in the studio all the time, whether it's in LA, New York, wherever, sometimes even next to each other. I just pull out like a ghetto microphone. We spend a lot of time on this stuff, and, time is money for both of us. We're out there speaking at conferences, we're doing different things, working on different projects. But, I was telling Neil, I was like, well, we're spending all this time on actually doing this audio. We need Google to be able to see this stuff. So what we did is we have a person that helps us with show notes. We also transcribe the content as well using Rev. That's rev.com. And we built marketingschool.io. And literally, if you Google marketing school right now, we have a couple of the first kind of rankings there. And it's because we produce a lot of content around this stuff. So, we rank for a lot of different things. We have this is like another way of repurposing. We've taken a podcast and we repurposed it into a blog post. This is a real life example, and here's what it does. You can see our traffic. We haven't built any links to this new site. It gets about 5,000 visits a month or so, and it continues to scale up. You can see this screenshot was from 2017. It has since gone up since then. Now the question is, that's great, 5,000 visits a month, but how do we do even more with that? So what we did, and some of you are probably going to have some questions on duplicate content, but what we did was we threw this content over to a site with a higher domain authority, and our traffic shot up by about 20,000 visits per month. Okay. Now, those of you that are probably wondering, well, what about duplicate content? Well, I actually saw Matt Cutts at the TED conference a couple weeks ago, and we're just talking a little bit, and I remembered that he did a video a long time ago on duplicate content. And he said, when he was on the Google web spam team, he's the head of web spam, he said, honestly, you don't have to worry about duplicate content unless you're talking, that piece is being produced, hundreds of times or thousands of times, right? Because there's a lot of scrapers out there. In general, if you're doing it like, once or twice, whatever, they're going to give more credit to, a site that, might have a higher domain authority in the first place. So that's what we did, and our traffic shot up by 20,000 visits per month. This is not always going to work, but it happened to work out for us. So just FYI, it's not one size fit all. I'm just letting you know that this worked for us. Any questions, Krista, before I move to the next portion?
Yes. So Fiona, hey Fiona, she was asking, how would those efforts work with a heavily competitive market?
Yeah. So is she talking about in the context of, upgrading things, or in the context of basically, moving something from one site to another?
I think I'm not sure which one. I can ask again. Which one were you talking about, Fiona? Which slide, primarily? Or we could do both. Is fine. Whichever one you think.
Okay, so let's just do this. Okay, so how does this apply to a larger website? So in the context of repurposing, it always works, because here's the thing. In digital marketing, it's one of the most competitive niche. I mean, the digital marketers are doing the stuff that we're talking about. So literally the stuff we talk about, people go out there and implement and try to kick our ass, right? I don't know if I'm allowed to say ass, but sorry. But I mean, like, Neil, he gets over 1 million visits a month for both of his marketing blogs. You know, we're over 6 figures on ours. I'm sure the Semrush is, you know, probably over 6 figures as well in terms of traffic. Now, you know, for us, I mean, it's in our best interest to repurpose, because if we don't, you know, if Google decides to change their algorithm or Facebook decides to shut off an API or something like that, we're screwed. So we try to diversify as much as we can, and eventually we start to take off on these different channels just because our sheer amount of content that we're pushing out, just because we're relentless with the content, it's eventually going to take off. You know, I've seen the same kind of pattern over and over. With growth ever, it took a long time to grow, right? And now with our YouTube channel, it's taking a long time to grow. We're about 8,000 subscribers or so, which I think is very small, but it's taking time to grow. But it's starting to pick up. It's starting to snowball. Once you get in a certain phase, it's going to start to snowball. There's no one point in time where people are always like, what was the inflection point? There's no inflection point. You just keep going at it. It is going to work in competitive industries. Trust me, tried it multiple times. You can always email me at eric@singlegrain.com if you have more questions around it. Okay, so I want to talk about LinkedIn now, even though this isn't as related to SEO. But here's the thing. If you're doing SEO and content marketing, you should be doing LinkedIn, because right now with LinkedIn Organic, LinkedIn Organic is doing very well, and that might change in the near future. It probably will. But this is my friend Greta Van Riel right here. She is an e-commerce entrepreneur, and you can see she wrote a post here, and it actually adds value. So think about taking your post from a blog post and just shortening it for LinkedIn. 4,200 likes, 371 comments. Okay, and you think, okay, the engagement might be good, but like, what's the ROI? I just want to show you this screenshot here too. 100,000 likes, 1,892 comments, 8,000 shares. Okay, who says? And she's making fun of people here too. Is people that say articles get no reach. You can be damn sure that on LinkedIn, this stuff works. After the Microsoft acquisition, they've gotten a lot more serious. Now, if you're thinking about, okay, well, what does it drive for my business? What does it do for me? This is my friend Ginny. She wrote a very similar, she wrote like a helpful post. It got 187,000 views on her profile. It got 10 million views on her post. So this LinkedIn stuff, it works. If you're producing content on blog, podcast, whatever, try repurposing it to LinkedIn. Trust me, it'll help with your business. Okay. And this is the one thing I want to talk to you guys about that has helped generate more than 200,000, but just, got us a $200,000 contract, but much more than that. I like talking about live events, because even though all of us are producing content kind of, sometimes in our apartment, behind a screen or so, like I'm introverted, after I do like a live event, like I'm going to do with Semrush tonight, I just want to go to bed. Okay. But live events are great. And here's an example of one I did in San Francisco. One guy, the very top left went to my high school. The bottom right, I actually interned for that guy in college. And then the girl right above him went to, is like my friends, like one of her good friends or whatever. But a lot of people here, right? Now, my point of showing you this is that when you throw dinners, for example, with like-minded people, that is quote unquote networking. That gets you a lot of opportunities that you otherwise would not expect. Okay. And I've done an event with Neil live as well called Marketing School, and we're both sitting here. We're just literally doing Q&A the whole time, and people really liked it. And examples again, you can do happy hours, you can throw your own mini conferences, you can do dinners, you can pay for people, you can have people pay as well. I highly recommend that you Google Mastermind Dinners PDF, and you have a checklist on what you should do in dinners. So what I do in the dinners, everyone introduces themselves, talk about what they do, one big thing they could use help with. I usually invite marketers or entrepreneurs that are good at marketing. And then from there, we just kind of connect, right? And then afterwards, like it leads to just, speaking opportunities. It leads to friendships, deeper friendships with people. It led to a $200,000 SEO contract as well. And then referrals to other people you otherwise would have never, ever met. And I can tell you that some of these dinners have even evolved into masterminds. We're going to do a mastermind with, we have, the CEO of Optin Monster, a couple other people. We're going to be doing it in Cabo in August. And it's because you start with content first, then you make it into an offline event, and then you make it into something even deeper than that. And that's how you continue to get ahead of other people. Other people aren't willing to put in this work because, well, they're too lazy to. And if you have really high aspirations, this stuff will work for you. If you don't, if you're happy with, kind of how things are going right now, I'm not saying this is the end all be all, the holy grail, you have to do this. I'm just saying I like it. This works for me. This is how it led to not only just one, multiple six-figure contract, but multiple six-figure contracts. This stuff, live events, it works. Krista, any questions?
Yes. So the next one, someone was asking if, do you have any data on the effectiveness of LinkedIn posts for B2B technical markets? So going back to the LinkedIn.
Yeah, so going back to the LinkedIn, there's no like there's no like post on BuzzSumo or any site like that right now where someone's kind of documented it. I can tell you for us, it's led to kind of it's led to us hiring a design intern that's really good. And it's also led to multiple business opportunities where even though if they weren't a fit for single grain, they were a fit for perhaps another partner agency, or they're a fit for our software. So for us, anecdotally, I can say it works for us, and for Neil as well, it works for him too, because a lot of these people, they're just looking to generate a conversation with you. Once a conversation starts, it naturally starts to lead towards business. In my opinion, kind of business and kind of personal. They kind of tie in together. I think it's trying to separate the two is, to me, not so realistic in terms of what reality is. So yeah, sorry, I don't have like a blog post for you though.
All right, no problem. And the other question that we had was, do you have any recommendations for finding the best supporting content to create pages for, and link internally to help drive up your target keyword page?
Yeah, so I'm not sure I understand the question completely, but what I can tell you is if you're looking for the stuff to target link to on your own website, I recommend using Screaming Frog SEO Spider to kind of crawl your site and see what's relevant and what isn't. You can also use BuzzSumo as well. You can certainly use Semrush. Just basically what you have to do. And there's tons of posts out there on how to do a content audit. You got to audit your stuff first, and then see the keywords that you're missing, and then from there create a framework that works for you. So using a hub and spoke as part of your checklist, and then also doing some keyword research, adding the right keywords to certain pages too to rank for more keywords. That's what you got to do. So I think the sound of it is the person that's asking the question sounds like they need to build out a framework to repeat over and over.
Definitely. All right. Thank you.
Sure. So the other question here is, people are always asking, and I think a lot of you know already, how long should your content be? And literally, Neil and I just did an episode on that today. Our thing is, we like doing quality, and we like kind of controlling the output. This is a graph that I showed Neil a couple years ago, and it's funny, we were talking about it over dinner yesterday, and I said, Neil, like literally after I showed you this graph like 4 years ago, you put it on your blog and it just completely blew up. And this is the graph. This is done 4 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago now. The average content length of the top 3 positions, you can see about 2,500 words. Okay. This one's done a little more recently, probably 1 or 2 years ago, by Backlinko, who's a really popular SEO. It's probably done a webinar with you guys. The top 3 positions here average about 2,000 words or so. Okay, so you can see the longer form stuff works. But what's happening is, because these graphs have taken off so much, a lot of people are writing 2,000 word posts now. So that's almost becoming table stakes. So you have to write you might have to write even more than that to compete. And in some cases, if your niche is brand new and it's not that competitive, you might be able to get away with 500 words, right? So your mileage may vary. I'm just telling you from experience. In the marketing realm, Neil and I, we generally try to average 1,500, 2,000. Neil's at like 4,000 words per post, and he's publishing every single day. He is completely relentless with this stuff. He's spending hundreds of thousands of dollars a month on content, and clearly it works for him. And he knows most people, A, they aren't going to spend that much. B, he knows most people are going to give up. That's kind of his advantage. He's just going to keep pushing at it. So literally, I'm giving you his formula for success right now. It's really rare that I see anybody else try to replicate what he's doing. Now, the other thing I want to show you is around Google Search Console. So this is free, right? So Google Search Console, and you might not be able to see this right now, but you'll get the slides afterwards. But literally, all you have to do is you want to go to clicks, impressions, and CTR. Okay, and then you want to check those boxes. Okay, and then from there, you want to click on you want to switch from queries to pages. So what you're doing here, I'm just going to explain to you at a high level, is you are trying to look at pages that you rank for that have a high impression count but a low click-through rate. So what does that mean? That means Google is giving your pages the impression. So it's showing your pages 88,000 times, 40,000 times, whatever, right? If you have a page, if we look at row 8 over here, we had this one post on enterprise SEO. It gets 14,000 impressions a month, but only got 3 clicks for that month. A CTR is 0.02%. That just tells Google that you aren't doing a good job of writing a good title or a good meta description to drive people to the point of sale, to drive people to click through to your site. It's like they see it already, they're almost there. You got to do your job, rewrite the title, rewrite the meta description, and do this, maybe every couple weeks, depending on how big your site is, every month or so, every quarter or so. It really just depends on the size of your website. Okay. And again, if you can't see this, I mean, afterwards, you have the slides for it. But with Google Search Console, the problem with that is, we love the tool, but what we found was that it's actually missing a couple of things. So what I want to do right now is I want to switch my screen over and show you a solution that we put together that's a little different, that we might give you a little access to. So I'm trying to get my screen share moving. Sorry, Krista. And let's do, it's not this one.
How's the WeWork?
Guys.
How's New York? Still good?
The WeWork is still good. You guys can still hear me, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. Here we go. This should work. All right, here we go. Can you see that?
Yes, yes. It's a,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm showing you guys this really quick. This is a tool we put together called ClickFlow, and it integrates with Google Search Console. And we're actually talking with Semrush about potentially putting the Semrush keyword data in here. So what it does is it basically helps you organize everything. We're looking at singlegreen.com right now. And in the last 3 months, we can see our clicks jumped up by 2,600 per month. Our click-through rate jumped up by 2%. And then our tests, we basically ran 38 tests. So basically what it does is it allows you to kind of, AA test different pages against each other. We took 21 tests, 38 won, and our revenue grew by $13,000 per month. That's an estimate. And what it does is it looks at pages out, but a low click-through rate. So you can see here, we rank for, we have 36,000 a month for influencer marketing. We're getting 0.90% CTR on it. If we can get it to 3%, we're gonna gain much more clicks, and we can decide if we want to test it, test that page or not. So you can see here, we look at, it looks at your top 100 pages in Google Search Console, and we can set a target threshold. So we're aiming for 3%, right? And if we set it to 3%, ClickFlow will calculate, okay, we can gain about 11,000 clicks per month. We can gain about $57,000 per month. And then if I like to test a page, I can go ahead and do it. I can test an individual page, or I can test a group of pages, right? If I want to test anything that says like SEO in it, I can actually do that as well. So this is just really scratching our own itch. It's really complementary to all the SEO tools that we use. And we're not going to hard pitch you or anything like that, because that's not what this webinar is for. It's really just for education. But my point of showing you this as well is sometimes you have to scratch your own itch and build tools that work for you, and then you can get more distribution that way. Because SEMrush, they have a ton of different, like an audit, right? An audit tool, a bunch of other stuff like widgets as well, where they might be able to plug the audit tool on somebody else's site and they get a link back to their site. Building tools like this and pushing it to the right community will help not only you, but it helps other people as well. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing the screen over here, and then I'm going to move back to the slides. And that's basically it. Yeah, I mean, if you want to go mess around with ClickFlow, there's like a video. It's just clickflow.io. It's really simple, and then we'll just keep it open. But Krista, do we want to open up for questions?
Yeah. So far, I have two for you. So someone was asking what are some new SEO strategies that you've been working on, kind of, so I guess they weren't there in the beginning. If you said, yeah, and if you want to repeat.
Yeah, absolutely. So the one I didn't mention yet is Amazon Poly. Okay. So those of you that are using WordPress right now, and you don't even need WordPress for this, there's an API for it. But what Amazon Poly does is it takes the blog post that you have and it converts it into a playable file. It's basically a audio file where people can just listen to your blog post. So we implemented that about a month or two ago onto our blog, and people can literally just hit play, and they can just listen to it. Our dwell time on our site, so the time on site increased by 20%. So dwell time is a part of SEO. It's not that hard to implement. If you're doing blog posts already, go ahead and go out there, implement it, and it's going to help you out.
Okay, awesome. And if you could just stop sharing the screen so we could see you now, Eric.
Yeah, sure.
Yes. Okay, great. And earlier in the call, we were also discussing why were you even in NYC? So you were just going to tell me a little bit more about the tools that you and Neil kind of use every day, just to let everyone
Yeah,
know.
sure. Yeah, so we use Semrush, obviously. So we use Semrush. We use BuzzSumo for kind of alerts and also kind of tracking how well content's performing. Those are like the two, and then Neil has his product Crazy Egg, and then we use ClickFlow on like a almost like a daily basis with our clients, just because it's just squeezing more traffic out of what they have already is helpful. Those are just four. I can go on and on about tools, but I think we want to preserve time.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm just going to look through real quick again. So we're just asking. So it seems like we're just going to wait a little bit. So all right. So what's the rest of the day look like? Are you thinking about what's the speech going to be for Semrush actually?
I actually don't remember what it's about. I need to send. So Marcella, that helps you guys out. I need to send the slides to her literally after this call. I forgot what the topic is though.
No, no problem. I know she might be talking about PPC or something for e-commerce. Where I'm actually going to be there tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, when you're leaving.
Yeah.
Yes. But let me just check real quick, just to make sure everything's good. And thank you again, for joining us today. Definitely. I know how busy you are.
You're welcome.
Someone was asking, what is the name of the Amazon voice tool again?
Yeah, so it's Amazon Polly. That's Polly.
Okay, awesome. And also, another question on, they were asking someone, hi, Sammy. They were asking how does ClickFlow compare to Google Analytics? If you could just...
it's not so much a Google Analytics thing. It's more complementary to it's an improved version of what Search Console does in terms of trying to optimize your click-through rate. So it's a AA page testing tool, which Analytics and Search Console don't do.
Okay. And the last one, how would you use Hub and Spoke for e-commerce? Should the Hub be a blog post or a product page?
Yeah, good question. So I think that depends, right? So like if it's, for the most part, I would say blog post, but in some rare case, I'm really trying to think of like an outlier effect. So maybe if you're selling furniture, for example, let's say it's like, rustic furniture, right? You might want to have like a main rustic furniture page with a bunch of kind of like different chapters for, related products. That could literally be like a product page with like, a main product page with different different chapters or other product pages. Or you can just do a blog post.
Nice. Okay, and actually we have more. They're all flooding now with questions. The next one, should an established site that needs growth focus on CRO or SEO first?
Established site that's focused on growth. So I'm going to assume that this site's getting a couple 100,000 visits a month, or maybe 50,000 or so. Okay, I'll go even more extreme. If you're getting a couple million visits a month already, that is when SEO and CRO kind of meld together. And I would say, you want to be focused on running experiments every single week. And, a lot of the SEO stuff is going to be around CRO because, that's when you start making these small changes that scale across the website. I would say, for the most part, I don't know too much about your business, so I can't really answer. But if you're smaller, you probably want to start with SEO and content first. I'm giving a much more generalized answer.
Good. Awesome. Another question, strategies on backlink building and DA increase. Domain authority.
Yeah, if you want to increase your domain authority, it's simple. You just collect more links from high domain authority sites. You do a lot of outreach. I don't think there's anything special about, I've looked over the past couple of years, literally like when I started learning SEO, nothing has really changed in terms of like doing the outreach, doing the boring stuff, using a tool like Outreach or using a tool like Pitchbox, using Semrush to look at how your competitors are doing and all that, BuzzSumo as well. I don't think there's no new tactic or anything. I think you just need to go out there, hire the right people, build out a link building team, and that's it. I really don't have like a new answer for you there.
Okay, yep. And another one, here we go. Tell us your understanding of duplicate content given your talk with Matt Cutts.
Yeah, I mean, so there's this video with Matt Cutts. If you just search Matt Cutts duplicate content, I think he has a blog post on this too, on how Wow, I totally forgot there's like something that happened to him recently that I just remembered. But anyway, sorry. So he has a post on duplicate content on basically he says, hey, like you don't need to worry about duplicate content unless this content is being duplicated, hundreds or thousands of times. So doesn't need that worry about your content being duplicated like once or twice. Really not that bad unless someone's blatantly scraping your stuff and outranking you for it.
Nice. So Vince, hey Vince, he asked, you mentioned a tool that had Screaming Frog in the name. Can you describe that again?
Yeah, so Screaming Frog SEO Spider is an audit tool. It basically will allow you to crawl your website, see if there's any issues with it, and you can basically see all the content that you have.
Okay. Also, so any thoughts on using voice search for SEO and how we can start implementing it, applying it, and really learning about it? What would you suggest?
Yeah, so for voice search, I mean, voice search for in a lot of scenarios, like when you ask Alexa for something, you are basically looking, they'll give you one result, right? And sometimes, uh, actually they don't give you really a lot of multiple results unless like the weather or something. But a lot of times you're optimizing for rank 0 or the first rank. You just got to keep that in mind. So in a lot of scenarios, they're only looking for one answer, but that doesn't mean in the future there aren't going to be multiple responses. I think trying to optimize for featured snippets, that's a good idea. And I think, looking at creating like an Amazon Alexa skill, like for marketing school, Neil and I have one, and a lot of people actually use that to listen to marketing school. And then using tools like Amazon Poly. So we're still really in the nascent stages. Like a lot of people, when they say voice search, it's really just people asking something and then getting the first result. Really beyond optimizing for like a featured snippet, I don't think there's much else.
Okay, great.
For now.
Yeah. Okay, so another question. One second. So when merging blogs or articles to recycle, should I redirect the URL to a new blog or use one for the original URLs?
So should you redirect to a new URL for a new blog post? Can you ask the question again? I'm sorry.
Sure, no problem. So when merging blogs or articles to recycle, should they redirect the URL to a new blog or use one of the original? Yeah.
Yeah, you use the original URL. I mean, whenever you try to redirect it, you're going to lose some link equity. I don't think if you're trying to recycle it or whatever it is exactly, I don't think you need to make like a brand new URL.
Okay, great. Also, do you recommend that AMP for WordPress? Have you ever used this structured data plugin?
Yeah, so we do use AMP on our site. It does, get us, we do get kind of AMP traffic there. I think it is a good experience, but at the end of the day, you're still putting more and more stuff in the Google sandbox. But we try it. I mean, when we look at our content, it's a good experience. So fine, we'll do it.
Yeah. Okay. And also, have you mentioned any influence of related articles, blocks on average time on the site?
I haven't, but that helps.
Okay. Good, good, good. All right. Let me just wait to make sure we're getting all the questions. I know we have about like almost 10 minutes left. Any more questions, guys? You have them here live, ready to answer anything. All right, just waiting it out. But
we don't need to wait it out, by the way. I have a hard stop. So.
Okay. Let me just make sure. 1 minute. Thank you again. I know you've had a busy day. When is that? At 6 o'clock, the Semrush presentation?
I don't remember when it's at. I think it's at 5:30 or so.
Okay, sorry, I keep reminding you. All right, so the last one of the last ones, Vince said, it seems that one of the big challenges with content marketing is time limitations of the audience and rising mobile connectivity. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I don't understand the question. So it's.
So he was asking, one of the big challenges with content marketing is time limitations of your audience and rising mobile connectivity. So maybe like the rise of mobile search. Can you talk about that a little bit with content marketing, like how to structure it out?
Yeah, I still don't understand the question, but I'll try to answer anyway. Okay, so time limitations when it comes to content marketing. Actually, when we look at mobile traffic on our website, it's not that much different from others. I mean, frankly, sometimes people, when they consume the content, they actually spend longer on it. So we haven't seen that as a particular issue. But if you're wondering how to combat that, like literally the recommendation I gave around Amazon Poly, if you think people don't have the time for it anymore, literally adding something like that where people can just hit play and listen to your blog post does save people the time. Like for example, today I was in the subway in New York. I would just find myself listening to a lot of different things. So that might be an option for you.
Nice. And how helpful do you consider AMP pages? How helpful do you think they are? Or what's
I mean, it's just I'm really indifferent to them. I mean, it's a good experience to the user, but you're operating in Google Sandbox.
True. And what's your favorite paid channel to promote blog posts?
Facebook.
Nice. Okay. All right. So let me just make sure what's going on with it. All right. Just making sure. And your preferred settings for Amazon Poly?
We just have default settings. I don't think there's anything. We had our developer set it up to be frank. So I think we're just on default. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Okay. So we're almost at that marker. Any more questions, guys?
We don't have to, but I have a hard stop at 2 p.m.
Okay, sounds good. All right, no worries, Eric. All right, thank you so much again, for attending. Obviously, it was great, and everyone enjoyed it. So the slides will be on the landing page, guys, on the YouTube channel. So thank you so much, Eric.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
All right, you guys have a great day. Bye-bye. Thank you.